Yay.
Hi, how are you?
Great. We're
Good. I'm
here.
so excited for this. It was fun to
So,
talk a little bit backstage.
so am I. I'm so excited for this. This is
I feel like I
going to
have a
be a
lot
great
to learn
morning.
myself
Oh,
from
gosh. Yeah, I
everything
know.
here.
Honestly, a lot of it is stuff we already know. It's just putting it into place. So,
Yes. Yeah. So I'm here. I'm glad to hear about these systems. So real quick, I know people are busy and they like to just, fit this in and get the tips in their day. So quick introduction. My name is Dr. Bona Hovesi. I'm the founder of Go, and Go is here really to bring free information for parents. We find the experts to give so they can hear from the experts themselves. There's so much information out there online and a lot of different people giving opinions, but what we really need to do is go back to what the professionals have to say and then use what we like from that and what works for our family. So we're not here to push any type of trend or brand or anything like that. This is all for you all to get to make the most out of it. So with that said, when Allie's presenting, you guys can ask questions anytime. There's a chat box. You feel free to just ask questions anytime. This is for you. This isn't obviously, we're here to provide this information. So anytime you have a question, drop it in. We'll answer it as we go. We want this to be really as helpful as possible so you guys get the most out of it. So with that said, I'm really excited to introduce Allie and to hear about today's presentation.
great. All right. So let me, am I sharing my screen already?
Not yet.
Okay. So I am going to share my screen right now. Make sure you can hear,
Yep.
see everything. Are we
Yep.
good?
We are good. Okay. And
Wonderful.
with that, I'm going to turn off my screen and my audio, but I'm still here. So if you guys have questions and stuff, just please put in the chat box. I'll be here. And I just so the focus can be on Allie.
Wonderful. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Allie Anderson, and I am a twin mom, a mom of three, actually, a wife, and a former commercial real estate broker turned routine and lifestyle coach, and the creator of Time Smart Mama. So, what that means exactly is I help busy moms trade chaos for calm with simple systems that save you time and improve your whole family's quality of life. So, not sure, I can't see the chat, but if by a show of hands or a comment, who here has had a difficult time getting back into a routine after the birth of your child? I'm not sure if you can. I don't think I can see your. Oh, here, let me pull up your chat and I
Oh,
can.
I'm monitoring. And
Oh, good. Then you
I
can
said,
just tell me. Yeah.
yeah. That's why
I,
I'm so excited about this today because
there
I
you
feel like
go.
I need systems. And the funny thing is I've been somebody who's always been like, I don't need systems, go with the flow. I don't like
Mhm.
A-type personality. And the more that I am like going on with my family life, I'm like, no, I need things, I need to figure out how to make everything work and get my life
Right.
back together.
Yeah. So, needless to say, we're not alone. All of us at some point has had some type of, uh, challenge getting back into the swing of things. And I'm sure we all can relate to this. This is part of motherhood, which I like to call mom brain. I may not tell you how motherhood's going, but there will be signs. I've sure had quite a few of these moments, and I will get to this a little bit later, but this is actually a little bit of an indicator of decision fatigue. And while we laugh at mom brain, it's actually a sign of an underlying symptom of something greater. So, when our daughter was born, I had twin boys that had just turned two. My husband worked long hours and traveled. I was juggling two toddlers, a newborn, and a home. And then I had returned to work after maternity leave. And I went from thriving to surviving. I was, pumping at my desk, missing my kids, feeling guilty for going to work, but then being at home worrying about all the things that I need to do at work, feeling I was pulled somewhere else. I'm not sure if many of you felt this way, but I always was waking up feeling constantly behind. I was drowning in invisible responsibilities, nothing ever felt done, and I was always getting sick. Needless to say, I was incredibly overwhelmed. I was exhausted. I was feeling guilt. I was feeling like I was only able to give a third of myself to my kids, my husband, and my career, when really I wanted to give so much more. And I started to resent my husband. It was, a feeling of we were supposed to be on the same team, and it started to feel like we were drifting apart and we weren't when we should be. And the worst part, the absolute worst part of all, was I felt like I was being robbed of motherhood because my nervous system was too busy living in survival mode for me to actually be present. And then came the text, "What's for dinner?" Now, we've all received this text. I mean, I'm sure we've even sent this text, but this particular text on this particular day sent me into a complete spiral. Now, I know it wasn't about dinner, but behind the scenes, it was like me being the one always having to be the main person to plan, decide, and do. And I didn't want help. I wanted initiative. And when I shared how heavy the mental load felt with my husband, like so many well-meaning husbands, he said, "Just make me a list of what I can do." And a list when you are in overdrive is not something that you want to add to your already full to-do list. That was just like putting a band-aid on a bullet hole. And really, when I started thinking about this, it wasn't about dinner and it wasn't about making a list, but it was my reaction that ended up being the tipping point that made me want to understand what was going on behind the scenes. Like I had such a big reaction to such a simple request that normally in the past, I would have been able to tackle just fine. So that is what led me to think a little bit, to dive a little bit deeper. So, how many of you have heard about cognitive overload? Can type in the chat if you have or haven't. For me, I was in cognitive overload. And while we laugh at mom brain, it can actually be a true sign of cognitive overload, which stems from decision fatigue. Now, the average person makes about 35,000 decisions a day. Now, most are tiny, but some are really big. And moms, they make even more due to the mental load of parenting. We're juggling kids, meals, schedules, school emails, pickups, cleaning, planning, all the things. And those are just the minor things. Those are just the micro things. Think about all the other things that we are thinking about. Maybe there's family drama. Maybe there's, stuff going on in the world today that's weighing heavy on you. There are so many things in your head that are taking and fighting for space. And this is why moms burn out faster. You see, we're not just parenting, we are the CEOs of invisible tasks. And when you're the default parent, you are the one constantly doing the invisible labor. You're in charge of the incessant micro decisions like, do they need a jacket? Is Bobby allergic to this? Oh, is there a dietary restriction in the classroom? Did so-and-so bring their homework today? Did they pack the right thing in their backpack? The list goes on. And we're the ones that have to be challenged with constant interruptions. And there is literally, here's the kicker, no recovery time between these choices. We are bouncing from decision, decision, decision. And this is how we get decision fatigue. So decision fatigue is the more choices that you make, the harder each one becomes, leading to worse decision quality. So if you've ever experienced, for me, it was definitely the end of the day. If my husband's asking me a question about this or planning that, I would be like, please don't even talk to me. I can't think of another thing. I can't handle another thing today. My brain is off. I am out of service. Goodbye. So that is a real indicator of decision fatigue. And other symptoms are procrastination, short temper, brain fog, cravings for quick comfort, like scrolling on your phone, and the next, you're perusing Instagram, and the next thing you know, it's been like an hour. Those are all symptoms. And decision fatigue is one of the main causes of burnout. And here's another thing. It doesn't just affect you, it affects your kids. So these are some of the common signs of burnout, or sorry, the common signs that kids show when mom is burnt out. Now keep in mind, these are just a list of the most common and they are not an exact diagnosis. So take it with what you will. Obviously, see a medical professional, but they tend to act out more. They sometimes are more clingy and needing more of your reassurance. Sometimes it's regression where, they start talking back in like a baby talk or they're bedwetting when they are potty trained, withdrawing and isolating more, mimicking stress behaviors, which is often something they hear from mom, like, I'm so tired, or I can't do this, or blah, blah, blah. Sleep changes. Sometimes they have difficulty falling asleep. And the biggest one here is their physical complaints, but they don't necessarily know what it's stemming from. Like they might say their head hurts or they're not feeling good. And oftentimes that's actually anxiety, and they don't know what anxiety is. And the reason I'm sharing this today is because kids are emotional sponges and they absorb mom's energy. And that is why protecting your time, energy, and your mental load is not selfish, it's family care. So for me, the cost of doing it all was too great, and I decided to make a change. Well, I'm going to tell you guys first. So I really thought about it, and I was like, should I get a divorce? And then I realized that's probably going to create way more chaos and not necessary because I still really love my husband. But I thought about it in a way where I was like, what could I do? What could I do that could make me a better mother, that could make me feel calmer, make me a better wife, a better friend, better daughter? What could I do to improve not just my own personal happiness, but my family's well-being? And I started to think about something that we do kind of every day that's familiar to all of us, and something that my husband would respond well to. And I decided to run my home like a business. Now, keep in mind, all the love, all the joy, all the caring and compassion, everything that makes a house a home is still here. But what I decided to do was instead of trying to get it all done, I would utilize systems, routines, and delegations just like I would in the office. Because most homes right now run on mom's mental checklist, but systems make expectations visible so you're not the manager of everything. And my goal here was to remove decision fatigue, reduce brain clutter, and create flow. And once I implemented these simple systems, everything changed. So here's the secret. Routines, they free your brain. Now, what they do is they lead to fewer decisions because they shift tasks from mental drain to muscle memory. Essentially, like when you could riding a bike or even driving, sometimes you like zone out and you don't even realize that you're there, which I know is kind of scary, but it's all because it's muscle memory. It's stored way back in there, and you don't need to have to remember the next step and the next step and the next step. And when you learn to systemize your days, systems will create less of a mental load. And here you'll make fewer repetitive decisions, you'll save energy for more high value moments, and you'll reduce your burnout. And this was the beginning of Time Smart Mama. So since I implemented this system, I ended the overwhelm and burnout that drains moms and wrecks marriages. I was able to improve communication and expectations with my husband and my kids. I reclaimed 10 hours of me time without having to wake up at 5 a.m. One of my favorites is I turned my kids into team players with simple age appropriate chores, and I built a calm and happy home that we all love to be in. And here's one of the best is that we no longer have rushed, chaotic mornings. Family dinners are a staple every single night with shared responsibility. And I finally feel like I have restored energy to be truly present with my kids and my husband. And this has had a lasting impact on my kids. Now, these images are not just for Instagram. I can assure you this happens every day. My boys, they make their bed every morning. And so, same with my daughter. I mean, some days she'll miss a couple, but every morning. And they get dressed, they brush their teeth without reminders. When my boys get home from school, they unpack their backpacks and they immediately put everything away. Schoolwork out for me on the counter, shoes go back in the cubby, snack box comes out. They help with house chores and they feed their dog, which is one of their responsibilities. So that was working so well for me that I decided to share it with some other moms, and they had the same results. And this is what became the creation of Time Smart Mama. So today, I noticed something in my journey of motherhood. Moms today are drowning in information, but starving for real support. And I wanted to change that. So I put everything together in a step-by-step program, which is designed for busy moms who are on the go with limited time. They can access it from their car, from home, from the office, wherever, even, during nap time. And with lifetime access to a community of other Time Smart mamas, you can have unlimited tools and resources available to you to help you with time-saving strategies. And then optional customized one-on-one sessions with me. And in July of 25, last year, I left my 15-year career in commercial real estate to pursue my coaching full-time. So today, I'm going to share a couple of the strategies that I teach inside Time Smart Mama. All right, a functional home. First one. The key to saving time and your sanity is having a functional home. Now, think of this as your family's headquarters. It's where the mission, values, and systems live. Just like in a well-run company, your home thrives when it's organized, efficient, and aligned with its purpose. In my particular case, it was peace, connection, and time freedom. Now, here's how you can understand what I mean by creating a functional home. Picture this. You're in the bathroom, and you need to do a quick wipe down of the toilet, the sink, and so forth. But the Clorox wipes are in the kitchen. If you have to leave the space that you are in order to grab something to be able to finish the task at hand, your home is not set up for maximum functionality. A functional home means everything you need is basically where it needs to be. So in this case, everything that you would need to clean and manage your space is exactly where it belongs, easy to see, easy to grab, and simple to put away. So I recommend creating functional zones because when each space has a purpose, your brain relaxes because it knows what happens next. And here are some examples of zones that are in my home and that I teach my clients. The entryway, make it easy, where a place to store backpacks, shoes, socks, coats for the kids. Have like a homework study area where all of the supplies that you would need and chargers are readily available. Meals, make it easily accessible. Like if there's approved snacks that your kids can have those easily accessible for them to grab on their own. Self-serve breakfast station, that helps with smoother mornings. Meal prep tools, everything kind of in one particular spot. And if it's anything kid related, it's in an accessible, easy to reach spot and easy for them to be able to put away. Cleaning, what I like to do is have quick grab and go sections throughout the busiest parts of my home. So not every cleaning product is in one spot because I can guarantee you if I have to go downstairs to go get like a Clorox wipe or something, then it's not going to happen. I'm going to be too busy. I'm going to get distracted and move on to the next thing. Another thing is the play area. Toys need to be stored at eye level with labels and pictures, especially for younger children. This will make it easier for them to find and to put away. So when you have these established zones, tidying becomes quicker, smoother, and less of a chore. Anyone in the house, even your 2-year-old, can find what they need in just a few steps. And there's no more, I can't find this, or I don't know where it is, or mom, help me. Does that sound pretty amazing? All right. So there are 6 steps that I recommend to run a home smoothly. 1, you want to keep it in sight. Anything that that you want your kids to use or to grab on their own should be stored right at their eye level, visible, not hidden behind other things or deep inside a basket. So this means like if it's at the bottom of the toy chest or if it's somewhere in a catch-all thing, it's not going to be easy for them. You want it to be as easy as possible and organized. And sometimes that means going with the idea of less is more. Also, you need to stick with a system. Constantly changing where things live will throw everyone off. So choose one spot for each item and keep it there so that the whole family can find it without having to ask you. Number 3 is notice the gaps. If you're in a space and you realize that you need something that isn't there, just jot it down like in your iPhone notes or something and fix the setup so it'll be there next time. 4 is label for success. Use clear bins, photos, or labels so even young kids can figure out where things belong without your help, like a picture of cars for your younger kids so they can put all the cars there and whatnot. 5 is encourage independence. Instead of just quickly jumping in to do it for someone, especially if it's quicker, just let them try. It's not perfect. Make small adjustments and remember, progress beats perfection. And being perfect is a huge time stealer. You do not need to focus on being perfect. It just needs to work 70% as well as you, and it's fine. And then 6, make putting it away easy. If you find yourself putting something down instead of away, then that is a sign your storage needs a tweak. Create a simple, obvious home for everything so it's just as easy to put away as it is to grab. So inside Time Smart Mama, these are my core pillars for saving time. Anchored routines, batching, default decisions, delegation and communication, and automation. For the sake of time today, I'm going to be focusing on anchored routines and delegation and communication. So a strong system begins with anchored routines. Now, an anchored routine is basically routines that attach to tasks, it's routines that attach tasks to something that already happens every single day, so it runs on autopilot. So for example, you wake up in the morning and you immediately make your bed. Waking up is something you do every single morning, so attaching the task of making your bed helps it to become an anchored routine, and that helps you to just start to get the ball rolling to run on autopilot. And anchored routines, when done consistently, can save a significant amount of time each week because they eliminate the need for daily motivation, reminders, and decision making. Now, one of my favorite examples of an anchored routine is when my kids take a bath, because they take a bath every night. When they do, that is my cue, the bath. It's my cue to start my Roomba vacuum. And that 10 to 15 minutes where they're in the tub is just enough time for me to have my vacuum do a quick sweep of the floors. And now it's become second nature. There's absolutely no extra thought, no prep, It's just part of our rhythm because I just know now bath, Roomba. And that's the power of an anchored routine. It's consistency without effort. So other options, like here are some examples. A laundry anchor would be like before you have a cup of coffee in the morning or your tea or whatnot, that's your reminder to put a load of laundry in. And you'll know like after you put that load of laundry is when you can get your morning pick me up or whatever. You know, an evening anchor, another one that I have is after the bath is when I usually tidy up our kitchen. And tidying up the kitchen is my cue to pack lunches for the next morning. So, since everything's already out anyway, and I'm already in the process of cleaning, that is where I know, okay, I'm about to tidy up the kitchen. Have I made the kids' lunch yet? No, I need to make the lunch first, then I can tidy up and get everything settled. And that has been really easy and helpful for just ensuring a much smoother transition the next morning. Okay. So when these routines are consistent, it can add up to saving you about 7 to 10 hours a week. And why it works is it reduces decision fatigue. You're not deciding when to clean, fold, or prep. It just happens. And the thing is when you go from one decision to the next, having to switch all the time, that there is a delay of your brain in time being able to adjust and focus to the next task. So having this level of decision fatigue, kind of eliminating having these decisions kind of already running on autopilot helps you cut down on that transition time. It prevents backlog. Small anchored habits help mess and tasks from piling up. And it improves follow through because the routine's tied to an existing cue, like bath or bedtime or waking up. It happens automatically without you having to think about it and remind yourself. So when I moved our schedules and chores and meal plans into one visible family command center, it was like my brain got an assistant. I wasn't repeating myself 20 times a day. My husband was no longer asks me what's for dinner. In fact, he's the one making it 2 to 3 nights a week. And this one shift easily gave me back an hour a day of peace. So what is a family command center? It's a centralized hub that houses key family information. It can be digital or physical, so the household runs on shared knowledge and not one person's brain, aka mom. And what it includes a weekly calendar color coded by family member, a meal plan so no one asks what's for dinner, chore chart and responsibility list, which helps to define who does what, important reminders and due dates, appointments, birthday, sporting events, and shared notes like, even the grocery list or whatever important communications you need to post there. And by delegating and posting this information, you cut down on 10 to 15 interruptions a day, which is really helpful for mom. That's about 60 to 90 minutes saved a week in repeat conversations and reminders. Plus, it's less rework, it's less emotional load because everyone has access to this self-serve information. For me, having a command center gives my family, especially my kids, ownership, not instructions. Kids rise when tasks are predictable and clearly defined. So, being able to turn the household tasks into shared responsibilities and instead of solo missions has been really helpful for me. We utilize a chore chart and star jars. We also absolutely love the Skylight calendar. This is a great resource because it connects to your phone, so you have it on the go. But for younger children that especially, around like 2, 3, 4, having like a physical chart is really helpful for them. So my kids also, they take a lot of joy in swiping the little check to the completed side and then seeing their star jars. But when my kids get a little bit older, they'll be utilizing the rewards and chore chart on Skylight. So, for example, the way we delegate is each child has one age-appropriate morning job. My 5-year-olds, they make their bed every morning. My 3-year-old makes sure to put her milk in the sink. My husband unloads the dishwasher. And since everyone knows their part, I'm not the household project manager monitoring everything. And it's all because it's just outlined in this command center that helps everyone know what to do. So what I've shared today is really just a very small sample of what's inside Time Smart Mama. And I have an incredible vault of time-saving tools that are designed specifically for busy moms with no spare time. Inside my program, you will find bite-sized videos, plug-and-play templates, powerful cheat sheets to help you save time, eliminate decision fatigue, and run your home on autopilot. And my favorite part is to build lasting habits that benefit you and your kids for years to come. So, thank you so much for letting me share this space and my story with you. I know that your plates are full, and I hope that today you walk away with just something small that brings a little more calm into your home. I'd love to walk alongside you. So if anyone is interested in joining Time Smart Mama, today only I am offering 25% off of the program. So just use the code GOMAMA25. And I'd also love to take any questions that you guys might have and help out.
This was amazing, Allie. I actually got
Nice.
emotional when I saw your kids fixing their bed because I
Oh,
was,
yeah.
that is the dream. I can't
Oh
even
my gosh.
like, how old are your kids?
My boys are 5 and my daughter is 3. Now, sometimes, let me tell you, it's
Wow.
not the dream when they wake up at 5 a.m. and their bed's already made. And
And
I'm
they're
like, hey,
ready.
you need to go back to bed. Like, oh,
Wow.
stop.
That's incredible. Okay, your
But it
daughter's
is.
3, so she's so young. Like listening to this, I was thinking, okay, I need to, first of all, I'm going to use your code myself
Oh,
to join Time Smart Mom because I'm like, I want a command center. For the skylight, do you use that for everything? You said with your command
so
center, where do you write everything?
yeah, so my skylight is basically like my central hub because my kids are younger and need more visual stimulation. I have these wooden chore charts that I have in Time Smart Mama, but I can also send to you that I just got from Amazon. And I just put in whatever our chores are for them, and then they have star jars above it. So if they fill up their star jar, then they get to go to Target. And
Oh,
this can be great for older kids because let's say you collect so much, whatever the reward is, it doesn't have to be stars. You can have more screen time. You can have this.
right.
And it's also wonderful because it stops you from being the bad guy. If they want to go and they want to do something and you just say, "Hey, like, have you completed your list? Have you completed what's on?" And they look at it and they're like, "Oh, no." Then it's like, "Oh, okay, I got to go do that." And what I've also seen with my kids in establishing a routine, it has been really helpful with school. You can
Yeah.
see the kids that are my boys' age that don't have routines at school or at home having a little bit harder of a time adjusting to the way school is
Interesting. Yeah.
because they're not used to having to anticipate what's next. They're not used to being told what to do and in that way. And it's just for me, for my boys, having them be able to follow a little bit more of a structure, it hasn't come as such a big shock.
Right.
And being able to add on more in the future, they're more open to it because it's just something they're used to rather than me changing and flipping their whole
And
world upside down.
that's so true. And what I loved what you said is that their reaction when they feel you're stressed, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're going to feel, and I mean, I felt this presentation so much because there's so much, and I try so hard to get systems in place, but they're not as organized. And that's why I'm really excited about what you offer. So, but so I get anxiety and I get stressed. And then if you're stressed out, your child's going to feel it. So when I
Yeah,
saw that, I was like, it's so true. It's not just affecting your own mental health, but how you're feeling is going to affect them as well. So it goes back to like, we need to focus on ourselves and make
yeah.
sure that our mental health is in a good, solid place for them to also
Absolutely.
feel
And
that.
you also need to model what good health is.
Right.
Becoming a martyr and serving your only your family and yourself is not good to
Right.
show as an example for your kids. You have to show like, you know, getting exercise or having a passion or a hobby or doing something outside of just work is
Absolutely.
important for you and they only will see that if they see their parents doing it. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, no, this was amazing. Does anyone have any questions? I don't want to hijack, but if anyone has any questions, they can put it in the chat box. And also, we'll send a follow-up email. So, and do you have your Instagram on here? Yes. So, and you all
yes.
have Ali's Instagram, so you can always reach out to her there and ask any questions and get in contact. But this was so, so helpful. Thank you so much. I'm excited to start like diving in and learning and also implementing systems in my own life because it's so needed. And this goes just a quick reminder, like I'm somebody who never liked systems. I liked the just go as with the flow and but what I'm learning very quickly is that's not possible when you have kids and
Yeah.
like there has to be some sort of structure. Like there's it's not like okay, if you do have systems you're such like a rigid person. No, it's just
No.
making your day flow easier and it's better for everybody's growth and
Yeah.
mental health.
So this is a really important point to point out. When young children don't understand how to tell time. So what they understand is what comes next, how to anticipate what comes next. Like they know when I wake up when they're little, I'm gonna have my milk. They know after milk, mom usually puts me on the floor to play with my toys or whatever it is. And that is how they start to anticipate and plan and manage their expectations. So having a few consistent things in the day, not the entire day structured, just a few helps them to regulate their nervous system because they now know how to anticipate what's next. Because they don't understand, oh, at 3 o'clock we're doing this. Today, I mean, right now it could be 3 o'clock for all
Yeah,
they know.
that's so interesting. That's a
So
great point.
that's
Yeah.
why they respond well to it if you start early on.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Of course,
And thank
I
you all for
appreciate it.
joining. You guys, like I said, you'll get a newsletter and you know where to find us online.
Yep.
So thank you, Allie. Bye. Have a
Bye.
good day. Bye.